Published 0906 EDT, the 12th of October 2017. Updated 0938 EDT, the 13th of October 2017. A picture of the White Widow Sally Jones last Christmas before she and her son Jojo became ISIS jihadists in Syria, has emerged today. One-time punk rocker Jones, from Chatham in Kent, fled with Jojo in 2013 before becoming a recruiter for ISIS. Jones, who was Britain's most wanted female terrorist, was killed by a U.S. drone strike this week. A picture of her and Jojo enjoying their family Christmas dinner in 2012 has surfaced, as her ex-boyfriend said he was glad she had been killed by a U.S. drone attack. The photograph shows Jones and Jojo enjoying their traditional festive meal of turkey, roast potatoes and Yorkshire puddings, pictured as White Widow Sally Jones in family photo enjoying her last Christmas dinner in Britain in 2012. Sally Jones, the White Widow, was pictured in the local paper cradling newborn Jojo with his father Darren Alfred Dixon, following his birth at Medway Maritime Hospital in Gillingham. Just a week before Christmas in 2004, Darren Dixon was in a relationship with Sally, dubbed the White Widow, and is believed to be the father of Jojo, the 12-year-old son she took with her to Syria. Speaking outside the Tower block where he lives with his new partner in Kings Norton, Birmingham, he ranted, "I'm glad she's dead." Mr. Dixon refused to give any further details about his son, when asked by Mile Online. Meanwhile, Jonas' older son, Jonathan Wilkinson, 21, said, "I don't know anything about it. It's all bulls." Earlier this year, a friend said Jones, who went by the name of Hussein Britannia, was desperate to return to the UK but was apparently forced to stay by her husband's comrades, as well as her brainwashed son. Jojo had been used in sickening propaganda videos for the evil group. A 9-minute ISIS video issued last year appeared to show the boy executing a captured prisoner in a firing squad. It was claimed Jojo was refusing to leave the terror group, having been brought to Syria by Jones and her toy boy lover and jihadi hacker Junaid Hussain in 2013. A friend of Jones said Jojo was just an ordinary kid when she took him away from his home in Kent. She ruined all of that by fleeing with him. Jojo left, in an ISIS propaganda video, is believed to be the son of Darren Dixon Wright, who now lives in Birmingham. Father of Jojo, Darren Alfred Dixon, said he was brilliant, just a normal boy, always chasing bugs, going down the park. "I have had to block it out. It's been hard, we just have to carry on. It's disgusting. He's been brainwashed." Shah officials told their UK counterparts that a US Air Force Predator killed 50-year-old Jones in June as she tried to flee the group's stronghold in Raqqa. It is not known if her son was with her. U.S. intelligence chiefs say they cannot be 100% certain the strike killed Jones, as there was no attempt to recover any of her DNA. British commanders were informed of the hit by the U.S., but it is understood they did not disclose what happened in case her son had been killed. It is thought he could have been used as a human shield and killed in the strike. News reports of Jones' death have been celebrated by the family of those she recruited. A man who said his sister was brainwashed by the White Widow told ITV, "I have had a mixture of emotions today. I am sad but also happy. Happy that Sally Jones will not be able to hurt more families like she has hurt ours, and sad that she was able to enter the life of my sister. Sally Jones was an evil woman who has destroyed our family, and I hope she rots in hell. My sister was a nice and caring person until she met Sally Jones online, and within months she radicalized her, and then she changed, and without us being able to have the chance to talk to her, she left for Syria to join IS. I am sad these people have used my beautiful religion to bring hatred." The one-time punk rocker from Kent went to Syria with her son in 2013, a former L'Oreal saleswoman. She lived in a council house in Chatham before fleeing to Syria in 2013, after falling for hacker jihadi Junaid Hussain online. Now she has reportedly been zapped by an American drone. Pictured a composite image of Jones, which first appeared on her Twitter account, showing her dressed as a nun while pointing a gun at the camera and holding a dog, a direct copy of the front cover of the novel Divorcing Jack. According to the report, the CIA told the government in June that the 50-year-old had been killed by a Predator drone that same month. Pictured how the terrorist was killed in Syria. Jones, from Chatham, Kent, was understood to be on a hit list of foreign fighters who US-led coalition forces were trying to wipe out amid fears they presented a threat to the West. A Whitehall source told how she was zapped as she tried to get away from Raqqa. The PM's spokesman said, "I've seen the reports. I don't have any comments to make in relation to this specific case. More broadly, the UK advises against all travel to Syria. As all UK consular services are suspended in Syria, it is extremely difficult to confirm the whereabouts and the status of British nationals there. Anyone who does travel to Syria for whatever reason is putting themselves in considerable danger, particularly if they are fighting for our enemies." Asked if he would have preferred that Jones had been prosecuted, Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn said, "I think that people who have committed crimes ought to be put on trial. That way, of course, when you interrogate someone you get more information about the background to it. Asked if he would have given the order for a drone strike if British troops were at risk from Jones, he said, "I think it is difficult to give an answer to that question, which is hypothetical. I think we have to look at very carefully the effects on the civilian population of any bombing that takes place before such a decision is made." Amnesty International today demanded an investigation into the reported death of JoJo. A spokesman told Mail Online Sally-Ann Jones' reported role as a recruiter for ISIS would doubtless have meant her facing serious criminal charges if she'd returned to the UK, but the manner of her reported killing gives rise to some very serious questions. Was the UK aware of any US military operation to target Ms. Jones, and if so, on what grounds did the UK authorities believe it justified to carry out the attack? Given the reported death alongside Ms. Jones of her 12-year-old son, we also need to know whether the UK or US authorities made any assessment of the dangers of killing or injuring others present at the time of the drone strike. In Syria and Iraq, the US has a very worrying record of using drones and other weapons to carry out apparently disproportionate attacks, which have killed hundreds of civilians. The attack on Ms. Jones is another worrying example of a drone strike carried out in circumstances of questionable legality leading to summary killings, including that of a child. We need a full investigation into this and other U.S. drone and missile attacks in Syria and Iraq. She was believed to have been heading toward the Syrian border settlement of Mayadin as the ISIS capital is besieged by coalition forces. In the early 1990s, she was the lead guitarist in an all-girl rock band called Crunch who played a series of gigs in the southeast. Considered Britain's most wanted woman, Jones, known as the White Widow, was a recruiter for Islamic State. She was believed to have been heading toward the Syrian border settlement of Mayadin as the ISIS capital is besieged by coalition forces. Sources said the strike would have been abandoned if it was known the boy, who is not deemed a combatant, would be killed. It remains unclear if he survived the hit. The pilot of the drone was controlling the aircraft remotely in the U.S., and it is not known if Jones was in a vehicle or a building when she was targeted. Shahraz Mar, deputy director at the International Center for the Study of Radicalization, told me that if the reports of her death are true, it was a significant development. If these reports are true, it means Sally Jones was targeted by a drone strike. That would be the first woman I know of who's been specifically targeted in this way. Major General Chip Chapman, the former MOD head of counter-terror, said Jones would have been a significant target as a result of her alliance with Hussein and her role in recruiting his fighters. Referring to reports her son was killed in the strike, he added, "It is a difficult one because under the UN charters he is under the age of what we would classify as a soldier." He continued, "Even if he got up to really bad things, he shouldn't have been targeted. We don't know for sure whether he was with her or not." The 50-year-old, one of the terror group's top recruiters, fled Britain in 2013, taking JoJo, who was 9 at the time, with her. Her other son, Jonathan, 21, who himself has a 3-year-old child, was left behind. Mail Online contacted several members of Jonas' extended family today and all of them declined to comment on reports she had been killed. Her brother Patrick, 55, refused to comment today at his £500,000 home in Oxted, Surrey. The Muslim convert fled Britain to join ISIS back in 2013 alongside toy boy lover Junaid Hussain. Pictured taking her 9-year-old son JoJo with her. Jones was a high priority on the Pentagon's kill list because she was believed to have masterminded dozens of terror plots. She was believed to head the women's section of ISIS's Anwar al-Awlaki battalion, training European female recruits in weapons and tactics. The Muslim convert fled Britain to join ISIS back in 2013 alongside Birmingham jihadi hacker Junaid Hussain, taking JoJo with her. The 12-year-old boy, now named Hamza, is believed to have been forced to execute prisoners during his time there after being brainwashed by jihadists. A 9-minute ISIS video issued last year appeared to show the boy executing a captured prisoner in a firing squad. Jones' husband Hussein, who was leader of the ISIS DigiJihad computer hacking brigade, was killed in 2015, aged 21, in a U.S. drone strike. After her lover's death, it was thought she received a monthly salary from ISIS of £520, plus a bonus of more than £200 every couple of months for being the widow of a shaheed or martyr. She is believed to be the 6th Briton killed by drones in Syria, following the likes of Mohammed Emwazi, known as Jihadi John. Others killed by drones include Ruhul Amin, from Aberdeen, and Riyad Khan, from Cardiff. As coalition forces conducted over 500 airstrikes over the summer, last year JoJo's father, Darren Alfred Dixon, said his son appeared in an ISIS video showing young boys murdering men in orange jumpsuits. Jones was a high priority on the Pentagon's kill list because she was believed to have masterminded dozens of terror plots. pictured the propagandist with her son Jojo. Omar Dixon said he was brilliant, just a normal boy, always chasing bugs, going down the park. I have had to block it out. It's been hard, we just have to carry on. It's disgusting, he's been brainwashed. While in Raqqa, Jojo was believed to have been brainwashed by ISIS and taught lessons in martial arts training, firearms and radical Islam. His name was changed to Hamza and he was forced to call Hussein, his mother's husband, Dad. The boy, also known as Joe, had apparently told his grandmother he was concerned his mother was planning to take him out of the country. He was having difficulty sleeping, said a family friend last year. The grandmother discovered that the thing that was worrying him was that his mother was planning a trip. When challenged, Jones insisted he had made a mistake and they were merely going on holiday to Turkey. It was previously claimed Jones was using her son as human shield in an attempt to stop the U.S. from carrying out a similar strike on her. Friends and relatives spoke of their utter grief at being separated from Joe when he vanished with Jones and the trauma of discovering what he was forced into doing. They told how the little boy once called them from Syria, but was prevented from speaking freely by his mother, who stood beside him. They spoke under condition of anonymity for fear, not only of what Jones and her ISIS cohorts might do to them, but of reprisals closer to home from extreme right-wing nationalists. I felt sick to the stomach, his grandmother told a friend after seeing the barbaric images of her grinning grandson moments before he shot the prisoner in the back of the head. If there is a God, why can't he stop it, she added. Relatives described Jojo as a happy little boy who loved reading encyclopedias and adored animals so much that he'd never even tread on an ant. It's worse than being in mourning, said the family friend who spoke to the Mail. They love Joe and miss him but are scared of the forces that have turned him. His grandmother has lost her grandson. She doesn't think she can do anything to get him back, and even if he does come back, he's not the same boy who went out there. Speaking in an interview in September last year after the footage emerged appearing to show Jojo executing a prisoner in Raqqa, stepfather Terry Lynch said, I brought her up since she was a little. She was my daughter. She's a nutter. She's a crank. She has been so selfish. She was a beautiful and very intelligent woman. She could pick things up that people take weeks to learn, and unfortunately she lost it all to drugs. It's a terrible waste. Asked how he felt when he saw the images of Jojo holding a gun, he added, I couldn't believe it. I feel so sad and so upset and so sorry. That is a wasted life. That boy's life is finished. There is no way he can come back to the normal world. He has probably been told this is a new game you are going to play. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. Unbelievable. Sally Jones was a former punk rocker who became one of the most high-profile figures in the Islamic State terror group. A former L'Oreal saleswoman, she lived in a council house in Chatham before fleeing to Syria in 2013, after falling for hacker jihadi Junaid Hussain online. Born in southeast London, she was the only daughter of a greengrocer-turned-lorry driver, and her older brother runs a business in the home counties. Jones was still a girl when her parents divorced and was 10 years old when her father committed suicide after taking an overdose. She was raised as a Catholic and attended Christian youth groups in her teens and early 20s. She left school at the age of 16 to work as beautician and later became interested in punk music, joining the all-girl band Crunch, for which she played bass guitar. However, her music career was put on hold when she fell pregnant with her on-off boyfriend, laborer Jonathan Wilkinson. But 2 years after their son was born in 1996, 29-year-old Wilkinson died from liver cirrhosis. Her eldest son, Jonathan, now 21, from Kent, became a father in September 2014. A chaotic and self-destructive lifestyle that ensued led her to an online dating site, where she first met Hussain, whose mother was a Birmingham school dinner lady. Then a mother of woe, Jones fled to the Middle East in 2013 with Hussain and her younger boy Jojo, now 12, leaving her elder son behind. The former benefits claimant went on to be put in charge of the female wing of an IS battalion of foreign fighters. Her and her husband became notorious for their involvement in ISIS and were nicknamed Mr. and Mrs. Terror. The pair were accused of plotting terror attacks across 3 continents and were even linked to a plot to blow up the Queen and Prince Philip during VJ celebrations 2 years ago. Jones became known as the White Widow after Hussain was killed in a drone strike in August 2015. Since then she is believed to have risen through the ranks of the terror group. Following Hussain's death, she tweeted that she was proud her husband was killed by the biggest enemy of Allah and that she would never love anyone but him. In 2015 it emerged that Jones was grooming British teenage girls online under the Islamic name Sakina Hussain. Jones then tried to persuade the young girls to travel to the Middle East and become jihadi brides. a known ISIS recruiter. Her name was added to a U.S. kill list, but she has continued to post threatening anti-Western messages online. In one 2016 post she wrote, "I just wanna say, have a nice summer. I wouldn't go into central London through June or July. Well, to be honest, I wouldn't go there at all by tube." In July, a friend described Jones as being desperate to return to the UK, but she was apparently being forced to stay by her husband's comrades. A petition which called for a ban on the mother ever returning to Britain was signed by more than 18,000 people. Jones had used her Twitter account to spread propaganda for the group, and tweeted of her wish to behead a Western prisoner in Syria and behead Christians with a blunt knife. In May 2016, an account claiming to be Jones posted, "To be honest, I wouldn't go into central London through June. Or even July. Well, to be honest, I wouldn't go there at all, especially by tube." According to the Counter-Extremism Project, Jones issued terror threats against Britain as recently as May 2016. She has previously called on Muslim women to launch attacks during Ramadan in London, Glasgow and Wales. Jones even threatened one of the Navy SEALs who helped kill Osama bin Laden. It is believed that Jones lived on benefits in Chatham, Kent before converting to Islam. She had previously worked as a L'Oreal saleswoman. The government last night said it did not comment on national security operations.